even if you do have another job, and you have a busy life, these are still obtainable goals that you could have. And you do them every single day, Monday through Friday. Okay, so I'll write them down. We'll go over them one at a time. So the first thing is reaching out. Well, I'll go over different ways to do that. And I suggest 5 per day. We'll go. I'll put all 3 of these down, and then we'll go over them. Follow up. And then 3. See that on there? Yep. Okay. Education. So I highly recommend you work on all of these every day. And they come in a variety of different ways to do them. But so let's talk about reaching out. Five things. What does that mean to reach out? You want to reach out to potential customers, potential clients. And if you do this Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, that's 25 reach outs that you've done in a week. By the end of Friday, you've reached out to 25 different individuals or businesses. This whole thing that we do is a numbers game. If you reach out to 2 people, what's the chances of you getting one of those 2 people? It's a percentage. If you reach out to 200 people, you're still going to have a percentage of success. But if the pool that you're reaching out to is only two different people or 2 different businesses, their chances of getting one of those is going to be small. But if you reach out to 200, your chances of getting a few of those is actually statistically, it's going to happen most likely. So keep that in mind every time you're doing this, is that it's a numbers game. Like, you don't want to just try one thing. You want to try many different things. We'll talk about that. You want to try many different things, and you want to try those many different things as frequently as you can. That's what's super important. So what are some of the things that you can do? Think of it as kind of break this one down into things that you can do from your computer, and then things that you can do away from your computer. Okay, so we can just kind of do it that way. So just literally, when you get up in the morning, get your coffee going, sit down for 15, 20 minutes every morning and work on getting the word out, just from your morning coffee, sitting at your computer. And you can do that. I go over all the different kind of ways that's in the platform and in the course. But this is where Craigslist would come in. Remember, on Craigslist, there's you can post your own services, and you can also reply to other people's postings looking for people to work for them. That's 2 different ways to do the Craigslist thing, and I recommend both. So if every morning you got up, got your coffee going, you posted on your services on Craigslist, that's 1 of the 5. And you replied to 1 or 2 postings of businesses looking for bookkeepers, that'd be another 1, another 2. You've got 1 to 3 right there of your daily quota. So remember, Craigslist, I won't go into it in too much detail because we cover it in other things, but on ways to advertise. But this is basically all the stuff that you can do in front of the computer. You can get on Upwork. So there's Craigslist, Upwork, which Yannick has covered. What are some of the other ones? Indeed. I think some people are using Thumbtack.
What was that again?
The last one?
Yeah.
Thumbtack.
Thumbtack, okay.
You know what I'll do is I'll make some homework for myself, like a master list of
Okay.
because it grows and it changes over time. So you got to kind of evolve. But Yelp. So, you know, there's a variety of different things that you can do just from your computer. We have, where I live, we have this, it's a community app called Network. No, it's called Nextdoor. I don't know if you have that in your area, but it's kind of where you do. Okay. Yeah, so it's kind of where everybody's, hey, I'm looking for a plumber, and people will say, oh, or somebody stole my Amazon box off my desk, and here's the ring picture. You guys recognize this person? That kind of stuff. Like everything. Out here we have rattlesnakes, so they post a rattlesnake. It's on, we just saw it on this trail over here, that kind of stuff. So it's those are good community apps, and it'd be good to start dialing into those and getting comfortable with. You don't want to just on day one get on those and start selling your services, because some of them are okay to do that, and they're built for that, like Upwork and Indeed. Those are specifically made for that type of thing. But like Nextdoor, it's not made to just spam your services. You can. And also I think you can pay to do it. I'm not sure how much that costs, but I generally recommend you don't spend money for advertising, because there's so many ways you can do it without spending money. So you can look into that and see how expensive it is, but just kind of on some of these, you just got to kind of watch and see what the etiquette is for posting your services. You don't want to just jump on there and throw your services out without contributing to the community, that kind of thing. You see that sometimes. So those are the things that you can do. Some of the many things, just some of them, that you can do just when you wake up in the morning, getting your morning coffee and letting that kick in. So just all from your computer, and just takes, if you do it, you'll get used to also how to do it, and you'll get efficient at doing it. So the first time you do any of these, like looking through Craigslist and looking for people posting jobs and also posting your own services, that'll take you longer, obviously, the first time than it will the 100th time. So you'll just get better at these things and faster at them, to where, and you can always adjust them over time too. That's the thing to keep in mind, is if whatever you do today or this week, next week, it doesn't have to be the exact same thing you do 3 weeks from now. You learn from the process, like how you word something. I changed my wording on my ad on Craigslist probably 50 times over the years, because every time I read it, I'm like, oh, I want to word this a little differently, and that kind of thing. So just don't get too hung up on, is this perfect? It doesn't have to be perfect. You just want it to be as good as you can get. Kind of the 80% rule I talked about in another video, is just try to get it to where you feel like if you were turning it in for homework, you would have gotten an A or a B on it. And that, because if you spend too much time perfecting some of these things, you just don't ever release them. They don't get the ball rolling. So kind of the 80% rule is enough. And then, like I said, you revisit it the next week. The whole idea is that you get this ball rolling, start developing these daily habits, and you'll start to see a lot of data coming in of what's working for you and what's not working for you, and you can just adjust it over time. All right. Another really important thing is to document what you're doing. To keep a log from day one what you're doing, so that you can look back and say, okay, I spent X amount of time on this. I did get some results. This seems to be worth my time. I spent X amount of time on this. I haven't gotten any results. I either need to change how I'm doing it or don't do it at all. So that's really important to keep track of, to document stuff as you go. And it's really easy to remember that first week pretty much. But as the weeks go by, it's really hard to remember. You may think you know or remember, but it's kind of hard to remember back too far. It is for me anyways. So document so that you can make better decisions going forward. All right, so then so that's sitting at the computer. Now let's kind of look at it away from the computer. I'm losing it. It held on for a long time. It's not much better. There we go. All right, so away. Away from computer. So you've got at the computer and away from the computer. So this can be lots of different things, and you should definitely keep keep your mind open to any ideas that come your way, because whatever ideas I've had doesn't mean I've thought of everything. And that's what this community is good for too, is you can push your ideas in the group, get ideas from other people. But this is kind of where business cards come into play. You can literally take your business cards and hand them out. So you, depending on the structure and setup of your community, but you might have businesses kind of lined up and down. Typically, most cities and towns are developed that way to some degree, even if it's kind of out in the country or in the city, where businesses are kind of lined up on certain streets, and you can literally just walk those streets and try not to be try not to interrupt their work too much. A lot of people don't like solicitors, and that's what you're doing, is soliciting. But if you do it right, respectfully, if you get the vibe from them, or they say something that tells you they do not want you there, you just respectfully say, I hope you have a great day. I'll leave this here on the counter if you ever need bookkeeping services. Boom, and you're out. It can be a 15 seconds from when you walk in the door to when you leave. And I understand that this can make a lot of people nervous. It makes me nervous. But the more you do it, like anything, the easier it gets. And you can just try to be really genuine. Try to be yourself. Try to really care about them. Go in with love. And if you lead with love, it's really hard to mess things up, right? So the worst case scenario, they just don't want you there. You leave, and you don't have to take it personally. You just go on to the next one. But that is a really effective way to get your your word out, that you're in the area, you live in the area, and you do bookkeeping, and you're looking for more clients. It's as simple as that. And see if they need any bookkeeping services. If they say no, you can say, well, here's my card, and if you ever have any needs, just please think of me. That's it. Same thing with like flyers. You can have flyers made up. Now flyers you can pass out, you can hang up. Some places have bulletin boards, like coffee shops have bulletin boards. You can, if you have a website, you can put a QR code on there where people could scan it, and it takes them to your website. You could go old school with the little tabs that you cut on the bottom, like guitar lessons, where people can just rip off your phone number. You might want to put what it is on there so that don't get home and go, what was this for? So, but you can do it that way. And then what's interesting is you can go back the next day or later in the week and see if anybody's taken any of those tabs. Or if you leave, what you can do with the business cards is use thumbtack and put it on their bulletin board, put like 5 of them. So push it all the way through, all 5 of them, and hang it on the bulletin board. You come back in a couple of days and you know that you put 5 of them up there. And then now there's only 3. So you might want to replenish it, put 2 more in there to make it back to 5. So the next time you check it, you know how many have been taken. It just gives you an idea of if you're getting any bites. That'd be like fishing. You got a little bite. You didn't get the fish. You didn't even get it on the line, but you could tell that they ate some of your bait. A lot of fishing metaphors in this. because all of these things are like lines. Like if you're in a boat or on the shore and you want to almost guarantee yourself to catch fish, you don't just use one pole. You use many poles. You use many different types of bait. You want bait that floats on the top, bait that goes down the bottom, everything in between, cast, let sit, fish from the shore, fish from a boat. All that is the same idea when it comes to getting clients for bookkeeping. What else is, I have a list somewhere here. Oh, a big one is telling your friends and family. So if you fully commit to this, it changes the way you go about things, the way you talk, the way you network, the way you communicate with your friends and family. You're not just kind of secretly dabbling in bookkeeping. You want everybody to know that this is what you do. And when you take that mental leap from, I'm just checking this out, I'm going to give it a go, to I'm really going to make this happen, I'm going to tell everybody I know. When you make that change, you'd be surprised what can happen, because everybody you start to tell them, and they know what you're doing, and they also can see that you're serious about it. We've all seen people do that, friends and family members that go down different roads, and you can tell when they're serious about it, and it changes the way you look at them. You say, well, I think he's going to make this happen. So that can be your first client right there, just somebody you already know, a family member or a friend. So family and friends. But there are, like I said, I'll make a master list of these different ways to do this, but the key is that you're constantly thinking about throughout your day. Like I had one individual that came through Bookkeeping Life years ago. He would go to the gym every morning, and he used that as an opportunity to advertise himself. He had T-shirts made up with his logo on it on the back. It might have been on the front, and phone number. And he wore that every single day he went to the gym. And I think he went to the gym every morning. And that kind of stuff is that mental switch, like this, I'm going to make this happen. And he thought of that. I didn't think of that. That's something he thought of. But like you can have T-shirts. Get T-shirts made. You don't have to be going to the gym, but you can just get T-shirts made and start wearing your T-shirts around. Whenever you go to the grocery store or anything like that. Just make sure it's nice, it should be professional looking. It's branding, and it's your first, people's first impression of you. So you want to make sure it's good. You don't want to do what we've all done. Maybe at some point, I'm guilty of it. We're, throwing things together, thinking that they're good, but they're not professional. So if you don't professionally make logos, probably let the professionals handle it, I would say. There's certain things you don't want to cut corners on, and branding is one of them. It's very inexpensive to have it done by a professional. We have those in-house if you're interested. There's a link on the side of the platform underneath the Bookkeeping Life logo. But yeah, if you're not a logo designer or website designer, I recommend you cough up the money to have that done professionally. It's something that you'll have forever, unless you decide you want to change the look of your brand, but it'll be something that you can just hang on to forever. It's not a recurring cost, it's a one-time cost. And it's, if done right, it can be one client can pay for that. So I don't recommend cutting corners on that. There's things I do recommend that you don't spend money on, like advertising necessarily. Maybe $5 on Craigslist, it's okay, but be very thoughtful. Don't give Yelp your money. You really don't have to spend money to get clients, bookkeeping clients. Because the thing is every business out there needs bookkeeping. So it's a matter of just you figuring out ways to talk to them and to let them know that you do bookkeeping. Because they're not hard to find. Finding somebody that needs bookkeeping, is like finding somebody that needs food. We all need food. So it's just a matter of, oh, you make something that people will enjoy. You know, same thing with the book is, oh, you have bookkeeping? I also do bookkeeping. If you ever need any help, because sometimes people will have a bookkeeper or they'll be doing it themselves, and it's just not working out. So just because they already have a bookkeeper or they're doing it themselves, that doesn't mean that they're not going to be coming your way someday. They get disappointed in a bookkeeper maybe, and if they're, I see it all the time where people try to handle it themselves, and then they realize it's more work than that what they wanted to do. It's not the profession that they wanted. You know, that they have a business they're trying to run and be successful at. Bookkeeping is not something they want to take on, so they decide to hire it out finally, and then those books are messed up and you clean them up. So but I see that all the time. So these two lists are just the short version, so just keep that in mind. I will work on like kind of an ongoing master list that we can all contribute to, like ideas, and then we can all share those ideas, both being on from being at the computer and also away from the computer. You can also contact other, you can contact CPA firms in the area, or tax preparer firms in the area, and see if they do bookkeeping. A lot of tax preparers don't like doing bookkeeping, so a lot of times they will kind of build up a friendship with a local bookkeeper. And so when people come to you and they're looking for tax return done and you don't do tax returns, you can refer them to this person. When they get clients that need bookkeeping done, which happens all the time as a tax preparer, they see businesses all the time that need bookkeeping. They can refer those to you. So you can also start calling around to all the local tax prep places in town and just start building up a communication with them. So contact.
You'll replay it.
Huh? Oh. I don't, this could be on the computer, at the computer, away from the computer, but contact local tax preps. All right. So we'll let the list kind of live for now, but the list does go on. And we'll, like I said, we'll make like a master list and make a post for just that in the platform. By the way, if there's anybody in here that's not on the platform yet, please email me, steve@bookkeepinglife.com, because we want to make sure you're on the platform, because that's where everything's at. That's where our community is, the calendar for all the Zooms, and also all the classroom videos and stuff like that. All right. So the second one you want to do, these are daily goals. Each of these you want to do every day, if you can. So don't just do this one, but you want to do all of these every day. So allocate your time. So like I said, here's Friday. I would spend this weekend kind of developing a plan of attack and fully commit to say Monday, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this starting Monday. And then just think of it as a Monday through Friday challenge to yourself, okay? But you throughout from now until you don't have to wait, but just kind of, it's a way to kind of ease into starting a goal. You can mentally chew on it for the weekend, set up your plan of attack, and literally like write out your plan of attack for Monday. And then on Monday, make sure you do it. So you also want to, so on Monday, you may not have anybody to follow up with, because if you haven't contacted anybody yet, I know some of you on here have been kind of at it for a little bit. So you might have people and businesses that you can be following up with, but this step right here, following up, might be for later in the week. Like it may not be for Monday, but you want to check in. with all potentials that you've spoken to. So if you talk to somebody, so on Monday, you're supposed to talk to 5 or have 5 reach outs. Let's say you actually have some communication with somebody on Monday, you can be following up with them on Tuesday. That'll be part of, so on Tuesday, you're going to do 5 more reach outs. And then you're also going to be following up with people that you've spoken to before that day. On Wednesday, you're going to be following up with people you spoke to on Monday and Tuesday. So you constantly want to be following up. You don't want to hound people too much, but if there's anybody that you needed to be following up with, you should. If there's anybody that you kind of missed, say you dropped off your business card at a business, but the owner wasn't there at the moment, but you kind of got their information, you could be following up with them on that in situations like that. So there's always, you might have responded to something on Craigslist, or somebody responded to your ad, and then you can be following up with them. So you want to always be following up every day. So reach out 5 times a day, follow up with whoever needs to be followed up on. That's one's pretty self-explanatory. And then the third one is education. Every day you should be educating yourself. Right now you are educating yourself. So you would already be able to check the box on the education for today. But you know, so the education is through the videos, the video course. Is that right? And also Zooms. Yeah. So hang on one second. So educate yourself by going through, if you miss some Zooms, check those out because they're all recorded, and we put those into the in the classroom under the past Zoom sessions. And if you haven't gone through the pre-recorded material that's in the course itself, definitely check that stuff out. There's a lot of videos in there. But definitely, if you're new to all this, check out videos that the imposter syndrome one, fear of failing one. Those are big issues that most people have. We all deal with imposter syndrome. Everybody does. I do. Everybody does to some degree. And it actually, once you learn about it, you realize how it affects fear of failing and imposter syndrome affects our life in so many ways all throughout the day. It's crazy. We really care about what other people think of us, and it keeps us from doing things that we want to do. So the first step is realizing that and seeing it and say, oh, I didn't go to the mailbox right now because my neighbor's out there getting his mail and I don't want to say hi to him. That kind of little things like that. Just start to see how I'm gonna walk over here instead of walk over there. You know, so much of our lives is ran by us being fearful of things, us caring about what other people think. And, you know, in a case like this, of starting a bookkeeping business, we have that imposter syndrome where we think we're not good enough. But the reality is everybody started at the bottom at some point. So we got to just be really humble and not let our egos get involved and be okay with starting wherever we're starting. It's okay. Everybody did. The best bookkeeper in the world started at one point in their life not knowing anything about bookkeeping. So just keep all that in mind. But definitely watch those videos because they seem to help people. All right, I think that's pretty much it as far as what I wanted to tell you guys. So we can open it up to question and answer. But having these daily goals is extremely important because you just will not accidentally become successful at bookkeeping. You won't just like do one or two things and then boom, you're oops, wow, how did that happen? I accidentally got successful at running a bookkeeping business. It doesn't happen that way. I've never seen it happen that way. So you have to put in that work. It should be daily work. It doesn't, you don't have to kill yourself every day, but if you do something if you do this for half an hour to an hour every day, you'd be surprised what happens over time, because that time adds up. And then, like I said, you're going to have, if you do this 5 times a day, by the end of the week, you've got 25 connections you've made. All right. I hope you enjoyed that. Setting daily goals. All right. So let's